Hi guys, Jordan from B&P Campers. Just going to do a handover video on this Autocruise Stardream. It's a 2008 model, and what I'll do is I'll start around the outside, work my way around, and then I'll show you in the inside of the van as well. So based on the Peugeot Boxer chassis, and this I believe is a 2.2. So over on the left hand side we've got your engine coolant, power steering fluid and washer fluid reservoir up there. We then got your brake fluid in this reservoir here, and your engine oil filling point down there. You've got your positive terminal for the engine battery under this little cover here, and your air filter sits inside that box just there. The reason they put a positive terminal under the bonnet is because the engine battery itself sits under the floor in the cab down here underneath this cover. So if you were in a bit of a rush to jump start it, you can get under the bonnet there and jump start it from your positive terminal there. Just so you're aware as well, just behind this passenger seat is where your trip switches are, in case you ever needed to find out where those were, and you've got a couple of fuses down there behind the driver's seat. So the bonnet release handle is this one just here, just inside the passenger door. Diesel filling point is this one just here behind the passenger door as well. So the next little locker we get to is this one here, which is your boiler locker. So not all motorhomes have these, and it is really handy that this is here. So if you ever had any problems with the boiler, it's really easily accessible in this cupboard here. But all you need to know really is that you've got this little valve here, which is your boiler drain off point. So if you ever wanted to drain the boiler out from all of its water, all you need to do is lift up on this, and all the water will drain out directly onto the floor from inside the boiler. So that is how you would drain that out for winter. Also, we've got the habitation door here. We've got the step switch just inside here. The step is currently being worked on because it wasn't wired up properly before, so we are just going to be refitting that soon. Again, more access to the boiler, so you can get to the PCB just here really easily, just in case you need to. You've got a bit of additional worktop space just here, so you can open that up from there like so. And at the end of these little hinges here, you've got these little buttons, which is what allows you to release this. So you do need two hands really. If I just do that quickly. Sorry about the police car going past. Ambulance. So that's how you extend that little bit of worktop space there. So the next locker across is your LPG locker. So this is your gas locker. Now you have got space in here for two 6-kilo propane bottles if you wanted to fit them. So at the moment there's just the one. We just give away one with every vehicle. You've got a Clesse regulator up there, so that is your gas regulator, and the actual pigtail hose, if I can find it, see the date on it, 2023 on that, so you've got till 28 to replace that pigtail hose. To turn the bottle on, we go anti-clockwise around to the left all the way, and turn it off, we go all the way down clockwise round to the right. I'll leave that on for a minute just so we can see a few things working. Your electric hookup point is this one just here, so if you did have access to a hookup cable, it's really handy to have that plugged in for reasons that I'll explain when we get inside. You've got loads of storage underneath this seat just here, goes all the way across there as well, as you can see, to the other side, and that is underneath your U-shaped lounge at the back. Back of the van we've got reversing camera up there. I actually remember fitting this camera, and the reason I had to put it to one side there is because you can't get the cable through just here above the window, so I couldn't put it centralized here, and obviously for obvious reasons I couldn't centralize it up there because of that central brake light. So it still works nicely, you still get good vision, but it just unfortunately just off to one side a little bit, but it's not really a problem. But anyway, so you've got the two bike rack just here, and we've got your wastewater drain off point here as well at the back. All right, so that's in the open position at the moment. So another locker just here to give you access to this side of the garage. We've also got the external freshwater point. So you've got your pump and shower, so you can use those. There's a little filter here as well that you can replace inside there. There you go. That is how you can fill up your freshwater tank from here, and you have an external shower point from here. So 2 vents just here. These are both to do with the fridge. So if you wanted to check that the fridge was definitely lit and working, you can put your hand over here. You can actually see here, got some condensation forming above it, so that is a big telltale sign that it's working properly. But you will feel hot air coming out through here, and that's a way of just double checking that it's definitely working. The last locker we get to is going to be the toilet cassette down here. So to actually remove the cassette, it's super easy. Pull up on the little yellow tab there and pull towards you. You can then take the entire thing out. So all you need to know from there really is that you drain it out from here. So you twist this open and drain it out from here. And whilst you're actually draining it out, you should hold down the little yellow button towards the back. And that's just a little pressure release valve basically for that. Just FYI as well, just these little bits here are the switches for the flush. So if you ever have any problems with the flush switch stops working, you've got actually really good access to this here. Not many of the vans actually have good access to that, so that is pretty handy. So inside the cab, you've got 51,000 miles on the clock on this one. We've got the steering wheel controls on both sides for the radio. You've also got the cruise control stalk just there on the bottom left hand side, and your indicators and lights on the top left. You've got the 6-speed gearbox, and you've got the air conditioning switch there as well. So it's a really nice high spec cab. Obviously reversing camera comes up on that screen over there, and that will come on with the ignition only, so you can't drain the battery out from that reversing camera. Right, so what I'll do is I'll just wander back round now to the habitation door, and I'll run you through what we've got going on in there. So as I said, the step is in the process of being fixed. It wasn't wired up properly, so we are in the process of doing that, hence why it's there on the floor. So you've got loads of really nice natural light coming in through the front here. You've got this huge skylight up the front, which I think makes a big difference to how the van feels. You can completely shut that off from the elements with a fly screen or a blackout blind, and you can also open it up from here. Make sure that you undo these catches before you start trying to open this up, because you do not want to break this. Just say that now. But there you go. So first things first, we've got the control panel just here inside the habitation door. These control panels are really easy to use, like super easy. So what you've got is you've got a main power switch just here. So if you see what happens when I turn the main power on and off, you just get all the power going on and off. You've then got this little one here that says HAB at the moment. That is basically your battery selector. So if I press on that, it will now say vehicle. And so now all of the lights and anything 12 volt related that is on is being powered by the vehicle battery instead of the leisure. So the only reason we would ever want to do that is if we had the electric hookup plugged in. When you select vehicle battery here, like I've done now, what it will do is it will start charging the vehicle battery. So that's the only real reason you would ever want to do that. If you want to charge your vehicle battery and you had the hookup plugged in, then you might want to select vehicle there if your vehicle battery is a bit low. But for the majority of the time, you're going to want to leave it there on HAB, so that the habitation battery or the leisure battery is the one that's powering all the things in the back end. You've then got this one here, which is your water pump switch. I don't know if you'll be able to see that one there. Once you turn that on, it will go from clear like that to fully coloured in, and that will then give you access to using the taps. So other than that, we have also got, if you click on the main screen there, it will give you a few options, so you can see the battery voltage in all of your batteries. You got inside temperature, external temperature, battery life, so you got 100% in the habitation battery there. You can sort of turn on certain lights and turn off other ones from there, and you can set up your clock and all that sort of stuff, so you can see your freshwater level and so on. So you can go through there and have a little look through all of that, and it just sort of gives you an idea of what's going on in the van at any one time. This one here is the light above your head, so this is your entry light, so the bottom right hand switch there is for your entry light. So now that we've got the 12 volt power on, we've turned that switch on there, we will then have power going to all of your lights and all of your ignitions. So when you turn the switch on just here, all of the ignitions for the grill, oven and 3 burners, the ignition for the fridge, the, as I say, all the 12 volt lights, all that sort of stuff will spring to life. So the only thing I need to explain further on this is the water pump. So once you've turned the pump on, it's really important, if you want to start using the hot water and stuff like that, it's really important that you do this little step first. So turn the pump on, assuming as well, by the way, that you know that you've got some water in your fresh tank. So if I just see that there, 25% full, pump on, come over to the tap here and just draw the water through the cold side, making sure there's no air or coughing and spluttering going on. And now over to the hot. Also, no air coming out, no coughing, no spluttering. Tap off and make sure that the pump turns itself off, which it has done. Okay, so doing that proves to me now that the boiler is full of water, first of all, and that we're up to pressure. There's no leaks, there's nothing's going on that shouldn't be going on. All right, so as long as you can draw the water through hot and cold nicely, turn the tap off and the pump turns itself off, you're good to go. All right, so that's a really important step. If you try and light the boiler up on the gas or whatever, and you try and get the water hot when there's not enough water in it, or there's no water in it, you're going to run into some problems where it might overheat and stuff like that. So that is really important to sort of bear in mind. If the boiler wasn't full of water, what would happen is you would turn the tap on the hot side and you would get no water coming through. It would just cough and splutter and make a bit of a mess. So in that case, if you did find that, first off, make sure that you've got your boiler drain in the closed position where it is now, like I just showed you. Make sure the water pump's turned on and that you've got enough water in the tank, and then just basically leave the tap open. Just allow it to just flow its way through and allow it to fill itself back up again. And when it does fill itself back up again, that's when you'll start getting the water coming through nice and clear. All right, so that's about it really on the control panel and the pump. So other than that, we've got the gas 3-burner hob, oven and grill just here. So if I just show you briefly, essentially if you wanted to light up any one of these 3 burners, you just have a look to see which one you want to light up. I want to light this one up, so the bottom right. Press on your ignition and that at the same time, and you can see there, lights up straight away. Same goes for the grill. This one here is the grill, and then the oven is this one over here on the right hand side. The only other one that's slightly different on here is this one over in the top left, which is obviously a ring. So this will only work when your electric hookup's plugged in, and you need to make sure that you doubly make sure that you don't leave this on with the glass lid down. I've seen it a number of times where people will forget to turn this off when there's no hookup in or something. So this will be here on 5. It's not doing anything right now because the hookup's not plugged in. So it's I can do what I want with it. But people then find that they plug the hookup in, forgetting that that's switched on, and then it will heat up too much and it'll shatter the glass. So make sure that you put that to the off position there every single time you're done with it. It's really important. Down here under this little cover is access to your leisure battery. So if you did need to get into there for any reason, that's where it is. Okay, so the bathroom is right behind us here. So we've got the full-size separate shower room here, which has got its own light in as well. You've got the hot and cold tap just here as well, with the nicely colour-coded sink, which is all in good nick. A bit of storage overhead here. And we've got your blind and fly screen on the window here for that as well. So the toilet itself is normally the bit that I actually explain. As I mentioned on the outside, we have got the blue button just here for the flush fluid, which is just fresh water, to be honest. Over on the left, we've got the little grey handle here. If I pull this handle towards us, all that fluid goes into the cassette, and then push this back. And that is everything drained out into the cassette from the bowl. And that is all you need to do to use that toilet. Super, super easy. So the next thing I'm going to explain to you is going to be the boiler controls. Now this is a Trumatic C or a Truma Combi boiler, and basically the way it works is you've got the option of doing heating, hot water, or both at the same time. So if I explain the hot water first, so if you just want hot water, you would go up 1 or up 2, and that's basically just 40 or 60 degrees of hot water. So that's if you want hot water only. Back to the middle turns the boiler off completely. If you go down once, you will have heating only, so that's just heating on its own. And if you go down 2, you've got heating and hot water at the same time. So, you know, that is literally all there is to it, to be fair. That is, there's doesn't really get much easier than that, but just make sure that if you are turning this off, you need to make sure that you definitely go back to the middle for that, because it will turn itself back on again if you don't switch it off before. Wine storage in there by the looks of it. Just have a little look in here. Okay, so that little switch up there, I'm going to turn that off for now. I believe that is your 240 volt switch for this boiler. So if you did have the boiler, if you did have the electric hookup plugged in, sorry, then you will be able to use that switch just there to heat the water up inside the boiler. So that is what that's for there. So other than that, what else have we got? So we've got the fridge. I'll just show you in this wardrobe here first. So we've got the carpets just here for this van. If you wanted to fit them back in, you can do. And what looks like silver screens for the front windows just there as well. All the paperwork for the van, well, some of the paperwork is in this folder just here. Quite a lot of that in there. And then, as I say, we've got the fridge underneath here. So the fridge that you've got in here is a Dometic 3-way fridge. So it works on either gas at the top, 240 volt in the middle, or 12 volt at the bottom. So the gas and the 240 volt are the only two ways that this fridge will actually get cold from warm. So you have to make sure that you pre-cool the fridge before you leave. Okay, and so the reason for that is basically the 12 volt here, the bottom switch here, is for when your engine's running and when you're driving. And all it really does is it holds the temperature inside the fridge for when you're driving. So you have to get the fridge cold first, either on the gas or the 240 volt, your electric hookup, before you leave, and then just switch over to 12 volt just for whilst you're driving. So it will still take a good 3 or 4 hours or so for the fridge to get completely cold on the gas or the electric. But once it's done that, it's absolutely fine. You can just switch over to 12 volt for when you drive, switch back to one of the other two when you get to where you're going. So to actually do it, you literally, if you've got your gas on, once to the right like so, and that will light your gas up. If you've got the electric hookup plugged in, just switch it to that one. And if your engine's running, switch it down to here. So that is it really, super easy on that. Towards the back, let me just see if there's anything in these. So we've got the solar controller just there on the right hand side. So you've got a single controller there. So you've basically got the 2 wires on the left hand side that come down from the solar panel, 2 in the middle that go off to the leisure battery. Left of that, you've got the TV aerial booster, so we don't need to have that on right now. But that is the booster for the TV aerial, and the actual aerial itself is just here inside the cupboard. So, to be honest, I think that is about it for the video. There's not really much else for me to run you through. If there's anything you think I've missed out or anything you want going over again, just give us a shout. But otherwise, we look forward to seeing you soon. Thanks very much.